One of the hardest lessons to learn is that your parents are human. I think my dad gets passes that other people might not get because it's my instinct to give him passes because he was the person that kept me alive.
I wish I got the passes your dad gets.
So, no, you don't, because it would not be as authentic a relationship. You can't be authentic with someone that you give passes to all the time. You ready?
I'm ready.
You look wiped out.
It's a tremendous stress on your system when you lift the kind of weight I'm lifting.
Oh.
And everyone can mock me right now. But I did 305 pounds twice today. And it's kind of like getting in a car accident a little bit.
You did how much? 300?
305 pounds.
305, yes.
You saw it?
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah.
I did see it. I did send a text to one of your competitors saying I saw it with my own eyes.
You texted them?
He doesn't believe it.
You texted them?
I texted one of them.
Will?
No.
Taylor?
Yes. I texted Taylor and said, 305 with my own eyes. And he goes, I don't believe it. He said, Holiday's going to slow him down a lot.
What is?
Holiday. And I went, he said, I saw it with my own eyes. No, what he said was it a real 305? And I said, I saw it with my own eyes. And then he goes, Holiday's going to slow him down. I'm not worried.
That fucking asshole.
And then I said again, with my own eyes. And he goes, that's the only way I'd believe it.
All right, let's get our first question. Okay, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm in a competition. I want to say this real quick. So I'm in a competition with Bustin' with the Boys. It's not out yet. You haven't seen it. It's going to air New Year's Day. I said I could bench 300 pounds. They saw it. They didn't believe it. I didn't do it in their video that they saw. And then they said, I bet you can't bench 315 by January 1st. Here's what I'll say. If you have a fitness goal, plan a wild, crazy bet against yourself and train for that bet. Because I've never cared more about my training because I know that everything I do will help me achieve my goal of 315 pounds. That every exercise, I don't cheat on any of my exercises. When he says go slow for incline bench press, I go extra slow because I know that it will inevitably help me achieve my goal. I'm jealous that I don't fight for a living because I think when I watch Michael Chandler train, he's training to save his life. It's a different mentality than just training to look good or to get in shape. Mm-hmm. When you have something, I'm jealous that I don't play football because I train to make sure I dominated another man. Mm. And so having this goal in place, if you're setting a goal for yourself, it really is inspiring and telling of like, this is how you should train. And it's been great. And I will attempt 315 January 1st. I don't know how I'm going to do it January 1st. We leave Nashville at like 10 a.m.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, 1, 2, 3. No, it's not till like 1 or 2 o'clock.
No, I think, maybe it's because it's on this different time zone.
Central time, yeah.
All right.
It's
so,
early
but
afternoon.
anyway, let's go. Holidays will slow me down.
Hi, LeeAnn. I'm calling you from Ontario, Canada, and I actually have a question. So I know that your husband uses Zins, those little pouches, and because we saw him live, and he was talking about them. Anyways, my husband, he quit smoking, but he started using those as well. And I'm like, when he smoked, it really bothered me, the smell, but also I knew how bad it was for his health. Anyways, I'm just wondering, does it bother you that your husband uses Zins? Do you use them? Yeah, just curious your thoughts about those. Thanks so much. And love watching you. Bye.
Did it bother you that when I zinned?
Using Zins didn't bother me. Only in that how you disposed of them was kind of gross sometimes because you would stick them on furniture and stuff. Why you roll your eyes at that? It was kind of gross.
Okay.
It was like saliva that you stuck on pieces of furniture.
I liked it.
I didn't like that. But I just think why I said this to you when you started. I was like, you realize when you put that in your mouth, you are choosing to become addicted to the most addictive thing on the planet, which is
it really is. And by the way, I have to say, I quit Zens.
You did. You quit Zens.
And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a little rough. But that was my note, was like, why would you actively start something you're immediately
he's addicted to nicotine already. He's quitting smoking for Zens.
No, I think that's great.
In my opinion, I think that's the right move.
Yes.
And here's what I would say.
Dispose of them properly.
If you're worried about him and you're worried about the nicotine, 'cause nicotine, inevitably it raises your blood pressure. There's some health benefits to nicotine that people have mentioned on podcasts, and I don't know if they're real or not. They say it staves off
depression?
No, not MS, but one of the diseases. Parkinson's. Staves off Parkinson's.
Uh-huh.
I thought it gave me Parkinson's, to be honest with you.
It's because
I was shaky as fuck.
You got a little too much sometimes.
And by the way, the night I quit, I had 12 milligrams in my mouth, which is a lot. And Georgia was just looking at me going like, yo, big guy, what are we doing here? She actually said, we were in Hawaii, we were at dinner, and I had 6 in my mouth, and she saw me. She goes, upper decky? And I said, yeah. And I put another one in, and she looked at me. She went, yo, big guy, what are we doing here? Someone told me a long time ago, the saddest thing you can ever do as a parent is have your children worry about you. And I was like, oh, fuck, so I quit the next day.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that Georgia called you out on it. I didn't know that's why you quit. I just thought you just went, I'm done.
No, she called me out on it. I woke up depressed.
Your kids have done a lot of good for you in that way.
Yeah.
That happened after Fully Loaded, too, and you started eating keto. Mm-hmm. Both kids were like, hey, what's going on? And there was Zens, too. And to answer your question, I do not do Zens. I just don't.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
No, but it's fun. They're fun. They're fucking really addictive.
Way better than smoking.
I miss them. I miss them. And I often think about starting up again knowing that I can quit. But it's the hardest part is figuring out the day to quit.
Making that decision.
If you said I get 1 week with Zens and then I could get a pill and I didn't think about them again, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They were awesome. They're awesome.
What made them awesome?
They make you creative. They make you want to talk. They make you cleaner and you think faster. And
you think you need help with that?
I did sometimes. I was definitely going on stage. Yeah, I miss them.
Okay. I think that answered it.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, LeeAnn. I'm a big fan, and I want you to know that here's someone that I'm 43 now, and I turned around and I looked at my life, and I realized there wasn't a lot of people I admired, like that I looked up to in the community that I was in, which is a very religious community. And I was like, I don't actually want to be like the people that I'm in this community with. I don't know how else to say that. But also it's very, I come from a very religious background, and I was always very close with my mother. And I don't think I'm going through a midlife crisis, but I do feel like there has been crisis in my life here at 43 when I realized my mother isn't who I thought she was, and that the religiosity covered up a lot of really bad negative personality traits that came out in more sneaky, judgmental ways, and that I was kind of turning into her. And it's this year has just been eye-opening, and I feel like you're someone who's been through a lot and able to categorize your life maybe and really look at it and move forward with looking at it in the truth of what it is. And I want to be more like that. I want to do that. And how do I move forward knowing my mother's a crazy person who wants to have a relationship with me, and I really don't like her? And I know it's awful. It's so awful just saying that. But, man, I just feel like I got walloped this year. But I hope to hear your advice, and thank you so much. Bye.
Oh, she reminds me of Fortune.
It's her accent.
It's her accent.
She's probably from North Carolina.
She sounds like Fortune. That's an interesting question. How do you move forward when you realize, there was a moment when I was in therapy when I was really young, when my therapist, I was telling him I didn't have any problems with my dad. All my problems with my mom. All my problems with my mom. And he said, well, let's start with your dad. And I said, well, I don't have any problems with my dad. And in digging into my dad, he said, one of the hardest lessons to learn is that your parents are human. You grow up thinking they're superhuman because you have to. You have to rely on them for food, drink, shelter, safety. And at a certain point in life, you all of a sudden go, hold on, that person is really flawed. Mm-hmm. And for some people, that's really hard to reconcile, right? Especially if you've relied on that person for your survival when you have some kind of trauma like I did. I really relied on my dad. So even today, sometimes I think my dad gets passes that other people might not get because it's my instinct to give him passes because he was the person that kept me alive.
I wish I got the passes your dad gets.
So, no, you don't.
God, I fucking love. There's been times where I go, oh, I wish he.
Well, no, you don't, because it would not be as authentic a relationship. Because you can't be authentic with someone that you give passes to all the time. That's not authentic. Yeah. So it's hard. I think you have to, it's good that you've self-reflected and realized there are parts of you that are acting like parts of her that you don't like. There's probably parts of you that are like parts of her that you do like. So you could lean into those, and then you have a choice about the parts you don't like. You have to see if they're like deal breakers for you, if they're just something where you go, well, that's her, this is me. We can agree to disagree and move forward with that. I don't know. For me, a lot of that came from like forgiveness. When you forgive a parent, it kind of sets you free and you can see them in a clearer light. So for me, the way I was able to forgive my mom was I wrote her a lot of letters about the things I didn't like and the things that I thought was mean, that I didn't feel were fair. I never sent them to her, but I wrote them for myself. So I had a clear understanding of kind of my own worth within that relationship, right? So if my mom didn't beat me, but if my mom beat me and I wrote down like, I didn't like it when you hit me, it somehow teased out any feeling of me deserving to be hit or something like that. This is a terrible example, but I think you get my
Well, I think
drift.
What the thing that sticks with me from this caller is that this woman realized she doesn't look up to a lot of people in her community. That's fucking deep.
That is deep.
That is deep. Now sometimes you don't look up to anyone because you're the person they look up to.
That's true.
It's like this office. I don't look up to anyone in this office, but they look up to me, including everyone recording this.
Well, there's a different way to put that. You know, my friend Mikkel said some people are vessels and some people are passengers. And if you're a vessel, then you're necessary for a lot of people to get from A to B.
Yeah.
But you don't really need a lot of people to get from A to B. You need the ocean, you need life, you need, the journey, but you don't need people. The people that are the passengers really need you.
Sadly, I look up to everybody.
You look up to everybody?
I look up to a lot of people.
Do you?
I look up to a lot of people. Yeah.
I look up to a lot of people.
But it would bum me out if I lived in a community that I didn't look up to anybody. Mm-hmm. I can imagine that. But the fact that you noticed it is a huge fucking deal.
Yes, it is.
Now you just gotta get your heroes.
Yes.
You gotta find your heroes. This is a fun journey you're on.
Yeah.
You have to pick your heroes. And like Winston Churchill is one of my heroes. I look up to him. Maybe they don't need to be in your community. Maybe what you're doing is you're realizing I'm the big dog, paws crossed on top of the mountain. And I just got to figure out how to be a better person so that they can look up to me. Mm. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's your path. Mm-hmm. Is maybe one day your mom's going to look at you and go, I was wrong all these years. Mm-hmm. You're really fucking killing it. I'm so proud to be your mom and see who you've turned into. Maybe that's your path. Mm-hmm. You're right now. You're going like, maybe I should have explained my mom more, but
maybe that is your path. It's really great. When I was looking for mentors when I was young, I found them in music and in books, and maybe that's what you're saying also.
Yeah, it sounds like, for lack of examples, it sounds like you kind of look up to LeeAnn because she's asking you a question, and that's immediately that you're already on the right path. It's like Like, it's like, imagine being in a family where everyone's got a drinking problem and you drink with them. And then one day you realize, I don't look up to them and I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to better myself. Then you become the example for them to better themselves. I don't know. I think you're in a cool place, and it's turning January 1st soon. You're going to have a badass year because you get to pick your heroes.
That's right.
Yeah. And let us know who your heroes become.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would love to know who your heroes become. That'd be awesome.
I might think about picking some new heroes this month.
Or maybe you do a hero of the year. Like, what do you want? Who's the hero for this year for you? Who is it? Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger? Is it?
Well, it might be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's a great hero to have. And that's such a great visualization. I like that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's been a hero of mine for a long time. Because I would, when I work out, I put on his bodybuilding documentary and I just let it play.
Say what you want about that guy, but he has a lot of great things about him. He's really brilliant.
Say what you want. There's nothing negative to say about him. I think nothing but positive about that guy. I mean, businessman, Olympic, Mr. Olympia, 6 times? Successful businessman. Bought and sold apartment buildings in Santa Monica, in Venice, all throughout the 70s. Became Conan the Barbarian, one of the biggest action movie stars ever. Not an American, and ran for governor and won.
Civil servant.
What?
Civil servant.
Civil servant. And by the way, smart as shit and motivational as shit. Arnold Schwarzenegger might be my hero of the year.
I love that.
I love that guy.
I wonder who mine would be. Mine would be Cher.
Interesting. She still looks good.
She's fucking amazing. She keeps going back on tour and going back on tour. She writes her own path. She's always been a trailblazer. Maybe it'll be Cher. She's amazing.
Well, I hope you find your heroes this year.
Me too. Let us know who they are.
Yeah.
Wife at the Party is sponsored by Via. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, Via is the Swiss Army knife of wellness, dedicated to harnessing the natural benefits of hemp to create high-quality wellness products. Whether you're looking to improve your sleep, focus, recovery, or add a little pep to your step, Via has something for you. Unlock the power of nature with Via's organic and vegan hemp extracts. Perfect for relaxation and rejuvenation. Via is the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plant extracts to create products, each with a specific effect in mind. Whether you want to get better sleep, ease anxiety, enhance your mood, they have something for you. Personally, sleep is not my friend. Menopause and sleep don't go together. So have a little nice tasty Via and I go night-night. If you're 21 plus, check out the link to Via in our description and use the code WIFE to receive 15% off. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Click the link to Via in our description and use the code WIFE to receive 15% off. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. This year, enhance your everyday with Via.
Hi, LeeAnn. My name is Stacy, and I have 2 sons. Both of them are in their 20s, and they're both interested in becoming stand-up comedians. And they go and do open mic nights, and sometimes they do well, and sometimes not so much. But I was just wanting to know, is there anything I can do to encourage or support them? If you or Bert can give me some ideas, I would really appreciate it. Thanks.
Bert, you want to give Stacy some advice?
There's nothing you can do to motivate them. They've got to want it as much as you. Like, here's the thing, right? Neither of our daughters were competitive athletes. And I was a hardcore competitive athlete growing up. Tennis, baseball, swimming, track and field. Played football up until 8th grade until I hurt my neck. I mean, I just, there was nothing you were going to do there was nothing that you're going to do that didn't want me to be outside doing something active and playing wiffle ball or like fishing, or that was my thing. And when I found stand-up, I realized this is what I've always wanted to do. And I'll tell you what, my dad did absolutely nothing to motivate me to do stand-up, to get me to do stand-up, to help me do stand-up. He actually said to me a number of times, I have no idea what this is. I have nothing to tell you. His advice at times was detrimental because he would be like he would give me working man advice for a business where working man advice doesn't necessarily work all the time. He said one time to me, eat shit and cash checks, son. That's what you got to do. If they're offering you money to do stand-up, you do it. I can't believe they're paying you at all. And then one day I said, he goes, what are we doing with Travel Channel? I said, well, I'm hoping they offer me another contract, eat shit and cash checks, Dad. And he started crying. And he goes, I think I might have fucked up. He was like, no, you're talented. I don't know what to do. My dad, my mom, they literally did not do a thing. It was all internal motivation.
I think that's partly true.
I mean,
the part that's not true is that they did support you and that they paid for your travel.
Oh, yeah.
When we were first married. So she asked support also.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry.
It is really hard.
I'm thinking about
emotional support.
I'm thinking thinking anything to go see their stand-up or go tell your friends or that kind of stuff. Yes. If they times are going to be extremely lean for the next 12 years for them, I'm assuming.
Yes.
That's just how long it took me to start making. No, not really. I made money in 6 months, but in my first year of doing stand-up, I was making $25 a night doing stand-up, and I was working at Barnes & Noble, and my dad was like, don't worry, I'll help you get by.
Yes.
And when we started traveling, and I just had Georgia, and I was making $700 a week featuring, my dad was like, I can help you get flights. Mm-hmm. I can give you miles to get flights. I can buy flights for you. I'll give you a credit card, and then that'll help. I remember my dad saying to me one time, I don't know how someone pursues this career without someone helping them.
Yeah, it's very hard.
I feel like you should edit out everything I said at the beginning.
No.
My dad was very helpful.
Your parents were very helpful in that way. Your parents, I don't think, really understood what a stand-up comedy career looked like. And 20 years ago, it looked a little less, it was less public than it is now. I think stand-up today is everybody kind of knows what a stand-up is in a different way than they did maybe 20 years ago as a career, right? There was like 4 people you knew as a stand-up, whereas now you may know 15 or 20. So, but your parents were very helpful in that way. But I would say one of the things you can do to be helpful is to always be encouraging, to always encourage them to try things that might not work, to not be afraid to say wild stuff, to not be afraid to be booed or to be heckled, to not be afraid of being heckled. One of the really cool things watching you come up during the stand-up was watching how you handled a heckler. Mm-hmm. And I think that handling those kind of problematic moments makes you really good at what you do. Even if you're a plumber and you have a big plumbing problem you have to really figure out, it makes you a better plumber. It's kind of the same theory. So really, stand-up comedian, even though it is an art, it is still, there's a path to everything. There's a formula without a formula to everything. So if you can just be supportive of their process and know that sometimes they're going to feel like they suck, sometimes they're going to feel like they should quit, sometimes they feel like they're never getting anywhere, they're not moving forward.
Sometimes they're not. And there were times I moved backwards in my career.
There is, but if you can
a couple times I moved backwards.
Yes. Just always be the best cheerleader.
It's and just I want Isla to play guitar so bad,
mm-hmm.
and there's nothing I can do to get her to play guitar.
No,
she's got to want it.
Mm-hmm. That is good advice.
If
they want it, they'll go after it.
I hope they want it. I really do hope they want it. I hope we're talking on the phone to someone I run into in 10 years and she's going to go, that kid.
I'm Stacy.
I'm Stacy. Yeah.
She'll say, I'm Stacy with the 2 sons.
Those are my boys.
Yeah. They're opening for you.
That would be fucking awesome,
That would
Stacey.
be amazing. Yeah.
Best of luck to your 2 boys.
Yeah.
And do me a favor, as their mom, send LeeAnn a DM on social media with the links to their stand-up so we can check it out.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Send it on Instagram, a DM to LeeAnn on Instagram so we can check out your son's stand-up.
Awesome.
And tell them to stick with it. Tell them that the only thing that they can do to succeed is never quit. That's it. Never quit. Never quit. True. Get on stage every single night, right? Every single day. Change your brain so all you think is about is jokes. Everything that comes out of your mouth should be intended to make someone laugh. And don't give up. Don't give up. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. That's it.
Great.
Hey, LeeAnn, this is Katie. First of all, I want to thank you for being so open. Just with everything that you've experienced and worked through and continue to work through with your mom. I have a lot of similarities, and it's tough. And I think it's sometimes, personally, I can get in my head and be a little hard on myself and think like I should be past certain things. But I appreciate you being so candid, on your last episode with your struggles, that there are certain things that we experience that, run deep. And, you're such an inspiration to me. I feel like I really aspire to be like you in a lot of ways. And so, thank you for still sharing and just showing that, it's a lifelong process. And that the work's never done, but it's worth it. And I just appreciate that from you. My question, however, I have a very rich family life. I'm so happy in my marriage. My husband is my best friend. I have a three-year-old daughter. We are just like our own little unit and team, and I love our family life. I, however, struggle with my professional life. I have a really hard time working for other people, and I think at times I can self-sabotage. And I think a lot of that does go back to childhood stuff in a weird way. But my question for you is, do you have any advice on kind of tapping into, I guess, more of that and building myself up? Because for whatever reason, when I get in the workplace, I don't know, I struggle a bit. So what would you say to someone who, can be successful in other areas, but is having a hard time maybe professionally, in terms of like, I don't know, not self-sabotaging, motivation, just generally speaking? I'd love to hear your thoughts and advice, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye.
Interesting question. I wish I had a little more specifics, but it sounds like you're struggling with a lack of motivation when you're in the workplace. I think that's what she said. So
yeah,
a lack of motivation usually is an indicator that you're not interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe you're in the wrong field.
Yeah, start an OnlyFans page.
I don't know about that.
No, start an OnlyFans page.
Okay. Just for feet.
Oh, yeah.
Or earlobes.
No, I mean, that's all I heard was, I don't know. I say this all the time. If you love what you do, it never feels like work.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like, sadly, usually it's the other way around for people.
Mm-hmm.
Usually their families work.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationships work. The relationship, they don't feel, can you imagine being one of those dudes who doesn't want to go home? I have nightmares about not getting home. And I'm trying to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, so things have changed a tad bit, but like I got hired for something one time to do this stupid thing, and it was in Burbank, and they were shooting, and I was watching them set up, and I didn't realize I said it out loud. I said, I'm wasting my fucking life. And I didn't take I haven't taken a lot of projects because I feel like I'm wasting my life when I'm doing a job I don't love. And
right.
for that period, it was acting, and it was acting it wasn't even like, it could have been anyone. And that's what drove me nuts. It could have been anyone. I don't need to be here.
Right.
I tried to I've had jobs in the job that I love. I've had jobs that I did a voiceover one time, and I was so unhappy. I tried to pay them double what they were paying me to get out of it. And so I understand your feeling. And so this sounds to me like you need to take a real 3,000 feet, look, whatever that fucking phrase is, and look at what you're doing and see if there's a way to pivot it. Because it sounds like you got a team that will support you behind you.
It does sound like that. Yeah, it sounds like your lack of motivation is because you're not interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And, easy to say that when we're in jobs where we love what we do. I understand. I had to work at a restaurant to be able to do the thing that I love to do. And I think I've said this before on a podcast. For that, it's all about your perspective, right? So let's say you don't really care what you do for a living. You're not a career person, you're a job person. Totally fine. Then you have to reframe your perspective about your job, right? If you're not motivated in your job, how does that make you feel about yourself? Clearly, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself because you're calling and asking advice for it. So then your goal should be to do the very best job you can because that makes you feel good about yourself, or because that affords you this amazing marriage and this wonderful 3-year-old, or it affords you excellent health care, or, you can reframe things to go in the proper direction. I was waiting tables, managing apartment buildings, and selling Avon all at the same time. Now, inarguably, I didn't really want to be doing any of those jobs, but all 3 of those jobs afforded me the opportunity to write when I wasn't at those jobs. So then I decided to insert those jobs with a positive feeling as much as possible and to do my best. Because if I do a really good job as a waitress, I got better tips. If I do a really good job as an apartment building manager, I had less maintenance issues. So I could phone it in as an apartment manager and then change the same light bulb 8 times. Or I could really show up and change the light bulb 1 time. And if I'm going to spend 5 hours in a restaurant waiting tables, I may as well kick ass at it so that I can make the most money. So, but all of that was framed with there's a purpose for this. This isn't my career.
You are a different human.
Well, she asked for advice.
No, but you are a different human. Some of us just fucking lose our minds doing something we don't love.
Well, state of mind is a choice sometimes.
State of mind is a choice.
So
you put me in a restaurant waiting tables and I am a fucking nightmare.
But that's part of your state of mind. If someone said you have to do that 1 day a week to get on stage, and you can have this whole life, but 1 day a week, you've got to do that to get on stage. It might reframe your attitude about it.
It might.
It might.
It might.
Hey, you know what? Try it. If it doesn't work, at least you tried something.
Also, try drinking behind everyone's back.
No, I don't know about
because that. Because I don't
get you
flying.
fired.
I don't like flying. But I say if I can drink, I don't mind flying.
And that might get you fired, and then it will force you to reevaluate your motivation for work. So I don't know. That's what I would say. You're either in the wrong career, or if you feel like you just want to be a job person who has a job, then you need to reframe how you approach your job so that it benefits your mental health, your self-esteem, you can reframe that. I think. I hope that answered her question.
I hope so too. But you're lucky you got the family thing right. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
That's all that matters. We all
Jobs
die one day
go.
anyway. You're not going to talk about your job on your deathbed.
And jobs come and go.
It would be crazy if your job showed up to your deathbed and your boss is like, hey, so you're not going to be in on Monday?
You got to file taxes next week.
Hey, what are we going to do with your desk? And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
That's crazy. That's how unimportant jobs are.
Yeah.
Is that you don't want, on your deathbed, you don't want your coworkers there.
No.
I definitely don't want mine.
No.
No offense, Halston. Halston, I wouldn't mind you on my deathbed just going, can I get ad reads one more time? Hey, Bert, no ad reads today. Have a good one, buddy. Miss you.
One more?
My name's Kelsey, and I'm, how old am I? 26 years old, and I am currently put up a familial boundary. I was curious on if, either of you have ever had experiences with a functioning, quote unquote, alcoholic parent, and having to put up boundaries or be the first person in a line of family to really say, no, I don't want to continue this pattern. I really enjoy watching you all, and I'm going to continue, but just anything that you may have regarding just that weird interplay of addiction. Someone is still I guess in their mind thriving, but
their perception of the world is not what it is for everyone else that their addiction is affecting. Yeah, that's my question.
Well, I don't have an alcoholic parent. Neither of my
or spouse.
Well, she asked about.
I know,
parents.
just say it.
Or spouse.
There we go. Okay,
but she asked about parents. I don't have that. That wasn't. My mom never drank my whole life, and my dad might drink one beer a month. So I didn't have any addiction in my parents. But boundaries are interesting with alcoholism, with personality disorders, with I think they're kind of similar, although don't have any experience with addiction in that way. I think boundaries are hard for people who have issues like what I believe my mom had a personality disorder or has a personality disorder. So putting up a boundary with someone who has a disorder like that is very difficult because it's problematic for that other person. And the boundary is there. If they had proper boundaries, you wouldn't have to put them up. So they're not going to enjoy your boundaries. So you have to be willing. You know, the saying says the only thing you can do, the only change you can affect is change for yourself. And so if someone is doing something that goes against your value system or hurts you or is harmful, abusive is a strong word, but abusive, and you feel you need to put up a boundary to be healthy, you have to kind of let the chips fall where they may. And to be honest with you, sometimes if your parent is a really strong person, that might have them reflect on who they are and what they're doing, and it might not. So it's a risk, but at the same time, the other risk is that you are, sacrificing yourself in order to have a relationship with someone who's extremely unhealthy, if they're truly an alcoholic or an addict. What do you think?
I don't know. If they, here's the problem is that, if they think they're high functioning, it's hard to convince them otherwise. I mean, honestly, I've had people approach me about my drinking, and I always go, you're not my wife. When you're my wife and you say it, I'll listen. But, I don't know. I like to drink a lot. I'm thinking about drinking right now. I really am. I'm thinking about I'm going to do Tom Papa's podcast. So I wonder if we're going to have a drink. And then I was like, what am I going to drink? Wow. I don't know.
It's a tough question.
It's a really tough question. And you're 26 and you're not supposed to have to figure this out.
No, you're not. That's the hard part is your parents are.
What you need to do is just
not to do an ad read, but maybe look into BetterHelp or something like that, because to be honest with you, this is above my pay grade. I don't have any experience.
Yeah, all the advice I'm going to give you is really unhealthy advice. I was going to go drink for drink with your parent and show them how drunk they get by you getting that drunk.
I don't know if that's...
And just be like, this is what you look like.
That's good plan. I like that
record them. That really gets people upset. I recorded someone in a fight one time and they got very mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing she's never heard that recording. And guess maybe she should do that back to that other somebody sometime. When they get a little too drunk and say things the next day, they go, maybe I was a little off on that. Maybe.
I'm a high functioning alcoholic, so I don't say things out of pocket. No, that's really tough, young lady. And I'm sorry you have to deal with this. I really honestly think, can I tell you what the right thing is?
Yeah.
Go to one of those Al-Anon meetings.
Yeah, I think so.
And listen.
Yeah.
And maybe share your story.
Yeah, because you have nothing to lose.
You know what's crazy? Let me tell you something. That's such a power move. If you start going to meetings because of your parent, maybe don't do that.
Well, Al-Anon's pretty powerful. It's a pretty amazing program.
If my daughters out of nowhere just started going to Al-Anon meetings, I would fucking lose my shit.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal. You could go to an Al-Anon meeting and go, oh, this is not what I thought it was. Maybe it's something else. You could go to an Al-Anon meeting and say, this is exactly what I thought it was.
Al-Anon is for the family members,
tools,
right?
Yeah, and now I have tools. And now those people can say, well, this is what's going to happen. Because here's the secret, right? Most addicts behave in a very predictable manner.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, wow, this one's going to take an axe and chop your head off, and this one is just going to start sobbing. I don't think it works like that.
I want to know more about your parents drinking. Like, do they start early, or is it just every night, late at night? Like, that's where I'm like, what is it? Like,
why are you trying to qualify whether or not you qualify for what she's qualifying?
No. I just want to know like what it looks like. You know, like I wish these were live callers so we can go like, what do they drink? Is it white wine? And do they start at 5? Because that's a problem. You know, I mean, it's so funny is I did a podcast yesterday and I had a beer and I wanted one. It was a great podcast and he was playing great music and I was like, I want a beer. And it was 2:00 and I was like, I do not want more than one beer. And I didn't drink again until 7:00 when we had a party. That's why I drank at 7:00. And I thought to myself, I'm really happy that I wanted the beer, but I just had one. I was like, I wonder if that the qualifying thing of a drinking problem is like, you want the beer and then you go, okay, it's on, bitch.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're getting fucking ripped
It's like
today.
Lay's potato chips. You can't have just one.
And so, but like last night I came home and I was like, I'm done. That's the other thing is, you know, I'm done and I drank 64 ounces of water and then I drank another 4 liquid deaths in the middle of the night. I think I have a drinking problem.
Maybe.
I'm sorry you're having to deal with this young lady. 26 years old. You don't deserve that.
I would go to Al-Anon, seriously.
Yeah, that's actually a really good call.
It is a good idea.
But don't tell your fucking parent you went to Al-Anon.
No, you don't need, it's anonymous.
No,
you don't have to tell anybody.
No. But I was saying like go to an Al-Anon meeting and then shove it in their face and go, guess what I'm doing because of you. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's what you would do.
That's what I would do.
No, go there to get the tools they have because I have a feeling if your parent really is a high functioning alcoholic, their behavior, if you put a boundary up, will be pretty predictable. And that group will be able to say, okay, you're going to put this boundary up. Here's what they're going to do so that this is what you do or how you prepare yourself for that reaction, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
It says here that if you can bench 300 pounds twice, I did 305, your 1 rep max should be likely somewhere around 315 to 325.
Nice. Perfect way to end where we began.
Yeah. To all our callers, I would like a little more attention on me next time. If you could just focus on me. I'm kidding. I like this. I really like this advice thing.
You do?
Really, yeah, well, it's a good way for us to hang out and
talk about real stuff.
Talk about real stuff, yeah. And I hope it helps. And realize, once again, I am just a comedian.
I'm just a person.
And yeah, but anything I say is sometimes it's just meant to laugh. So if I upset you by something I said today, whatever.
I think people get it.
Yeah, okay.
I think surely. There's no doctor in front of either of our names. So we're just.
I thought I was going to be doctored one time.
Doctored?
Yeah, doctored. Isn't that what they call you? You get your doctorate?
Oh, I don't know.
Doctored?
Doctored means something else.
They doctored you. Doctored?
Indoctrinated?
No, that's when you get involved in Scientology.
No. I don't know. I think it's indoctrinated.
No.
And
what's it called, Christine? You have to know this. When you get
I didn't even graduate college.
Me neither.
I did. Doctored.
You get doctored?
Yeah, doctor you up.
So you would be the doctor of what?
Doctor, give me the news.
Are you the doctor of yuck yucks? What are you doctor of?
No, I thought I was going to get doctored when I went to Florida State, and they gave me the experience.
White coating?
White coating. That's definitely not it. All right, this podcast is over. It was a great podcast, great episode.
Yes.
Thank you guys for calling in.
Thank you.
This is LeeAnn's podcast. I'm just your side coast.
My side piece.
Yeah, your side
You're
piece.
my side piece and my main piece. You're every piece.
I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna shower. I think I'm gonna take a shit, and
Okay.
then I think I'm gonna go to Tom Papa's.
Sounds good. Thank you for calling.